So we're going to shift to the next panel, which is going back to China, and China is just waking up right now, so it's timely. And I've invited two of my friends from Shanghai to speak, Kevin Guo and DC, or in Chinese it's Deng Chao. Are you on yet? Can we put them on? Hey, Kevin. And do we have DC on?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Howard.
And we're waiting for DC. Andrew, why are you on? Are you taking DC's place?
I don't see DC on yet. I will see if I can find him. Okay,
maybe why don't we start with Kevin, and then if you can find DC, we'll proceed to him.
I'll see him. I'll bring him up right now.
Okay, great. Well, so this panel is entitled China's Role in the Global Crypto Ecosystem. And it kind of sprang from a trip I took to China, to Shanghai, actually late last year, in the midst of this pandemic, where China was kind of an island in the sea of this pandemic. And I was meeting with various people, including Kevin and others in the crypto community there. And it struck me that, you know, despite the perception that we may have perhaps in the US or elsewhere that China is not so active in crypto as opposed to in the blockchain, that there's indeed still a lot of happening under the covers. Now, we know that China is a big player in crypto mining, in Bitcoin mining, but perhaps it's less well known that China is at least Chinese capital is quite important, at least in offshore crypto investing and activities and in development. So I thought we would invite two of the leading investors and players in this space to talk to us. And I was lucky enough to see both Kevin and also DC, our other speakers, when I was there. So maybe we can start with and Kevin, and give us a little of your personal background, Kevin. I mean, the audience may not be familiar with Dianrong and some of the other things that you've done.
Okay, thank you, Howard. Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin Guo. I used to be a lawyer and practice law in China more than 10 years. And from the 2012, I started my own company called Dianrong. It's still a leading platform of a peer-to-peer lending platform in China. And my co-founder is from Lending Club. So, but after 8 years, the startup company and the government totally changed the attitude to the peer-to-peer lending business model. So right now, I'm trying to help the government to stop the business in China and trying to transform our company to a new business model. But from my personal side, from the 2016, I started my own group, Starwing Group, and focus in investing in fintech company and incubate some startup company in fintech industry. And I started my own mining business 3 years ago. And right now you can see with the pricing going flies, the Bitcoin price, it's really had a good return and prepare the spec structure in this year in America. So I also the chairman of the China Blockchain Research and Application Center. I'm the chairman and try to be the bridger between China blockchain industry to the world, and also help the regulator in China understanding more about crypto and blockchain. Thank you.
Thank you for that background, Kevin. So I see that DC has joined us. Hi, DC. Thank you.
Hey, Howard.
Thank you for joining us. DC is the head of Hashkey Capital, which is a very important investment player in digital. and they are a subsidiary of the Wanxiang Group, which is one of the largest conglomerates, industrial and financial conglomerates in China, based in Shanghai. But DC's group is based in Hong Kong. Maybe DC, can you tell us a little bit more about your background and about HashKey?
Sure. Thank you, Howard. My name is DC. I'm now taking care of our investment business in the blockchain space. I came from a traditional finance background. I started my career in a traditional mutual fund in mainland China, which is still one of the top 5. And then I joined the Wanxiang Group. As Howard mentioned, Wanxiang Group is one of the top 5 biggest conglomerate in mainland China. It started with auto parts manufacturing. It dominates about 60 to 70% of the market share here in mainland China, and it expanded also into other 2 major business areas. One is investment in agriculture. It has about 6 or 7 public companies. The third area is finance. Our blockchain business started within the financial holding group. We are a fully licensed financial holding group in mainland China, which means we have all the financial institutions that are licensed in mainland China, like insurance company, bank, trust company, etc. Our investment in the blockchain space started in early 2014. In 2015, we set up our first VC fund, that is Finbushi, and our first investment in Ethereum. In 2017, we started the HashKey Digital Asset Group as the crypto part of our blockchain business. So now we have 2 entities. One is Wanxiang Blockchain, which is based in mainland China, focusing on the blockchain technology in R&D, application, etc., building applications on top of the blockchain technology. The other entity is HashKey. HashKey is the focusing on the crypto asset side, starting with a VC investment, trading, exchange, custodian, etc., trying to build an ecosystem for the crypto side. Now we are running we're managing 4 funds. The total AUM is about, as of today, I guess about $500 or $600 million US.
Great, thanks for that background. So let's start with some of the background about the China setting itself. So maybe I'll turn back to you, Kevin. You know, it's well known that there's the general dividing line, if you will, between what's permitted and encouraged in China and what's not encouraged, is that blockchain is good and crypto is highly restricted, at least domestically. Can you explain, Kevin, what that actually means? I mean, what is permitted and what is not under this set of policies?
You mean the crypto, right? All about the cryptocurrency, right?
As opposed to blockchain, right? So blockchain, I think in general,
okay,
the policy is very supportive, but crypto, it's very restricted. So can you explain that?
Yeah. So I think from the point of view of the regulator in China, when they say something is forbidden, it's not really not allowed. So that means for the general audience, like small investors, they want to protect them because crypto is a complicated investment vehicle. So they don't want some small investors easily access to this industry, because if they lose money, the government will face the big pressure from the public. So, but for some professional institutions and the investors, they are still actively invest in OK Exchange, Huobi, and Binance. It's silently allowed, to be honest. And some regulators themselves, they own Bitcoin. And of course, for crypto mining, it's still ranked #1. I think China still ranked #1 in the world. And in Sichuan, Xinjiang, and Neimeng, the local government give a lot of encouragement to the miners. So in China, something you can do, but you cannot announce it. And something, if you just announce it, you can not do. So that's what exactly happened in China. So peer-to-peer transaction, like buying and owning and Bitcoin, Ethereum, it's 100% legally. And but the centralized exchange, it's not allowed on the table. But in fact, every day, a lot of transactions happen in China, and the founder of these two exchanges are still actively in China. Of course, recently the Huobi's founder have some problem, but for other reasons. So yeah, that's the what happened in China.
DC, do you want to add anything to that?
Just one point. I think for financial institutions, it is still very hard for them to hold Bitcoin in terms of like putting them on their balance sheet. The Bitcoin, Ether, or other crypto assets are recognized as can be a personal property that is identified by court rulings. But for corporates, it is so very difficult to put Bitcoin or other crypto assets on their balance sheets.
Okay, great. So I'm going to ask each of you then to describe what your crypto activities are, the scope of your activities, whether it's mining or in investing or development of new projects. Maybe DC, can you give us a overview of what your activities are at Hashkey?
Sure. Hashkey Group built on all the ecosystem in the crypto space. The part I'm taking care of is Hashkey Capital. We're a VC investor. Unlike many in the crypto space who are thesis driven, we starting from day one, we see ourselves as a ecosystem investor. We see the entire blockchain space as a whole. Sorry, we took a holistic view on the blockchain ecosystem. So we look at the blockchain ecosystem into 4 layers or 4 baskets. At the very bottom is the blockchain technology. That is what we call layer 0 or layer 1. That include public chain and a couple of other very fundamental technologies. On top of that is layer 2 that aims to improve the capability, scalability, interoperability of those function sides of the blockchain technology. On top of this too is the application layer. They are crypto native applications. There are also blockchain using blockchain in existing business scenarios. The 4th basket is the crypto basket. As all of us are seeing the crypto as a new asset class, is being recognized by more and more retail and institutions. So we are seeing the crypto space is evolving more and more like traditional finance. We could further like subcategorize this into 2 areas. One is crypto financial infrastructures that include all the fundamental pieces for trading activities to happen, like exchanges, be it centralized or decentralized, custodian, banking services, etc. And also the other basket is financial products like investment vehicles, spot trading, future trading, etc. So this is becoming more and more like traditional finance. Our investment strategy is to look for top projects in all the in the entire ecosystem and try to find the best one to invest.
That's a huge menu. I'm going to come back to that, but let me just turn to Kevin to ask him to describe what your scope of activities is.
Oh, yes. I have my own group of the investment in crypto industry. And not only in exchange, we invest in the, some quantum team, and also some incubate some blockchain technology startups. So recently, I incubate a new project. It's only spent 1 month and launched Binance. It's called BTCST. I just go through the price of the BTCST in Binance. It's more than 400 US dollar right now. It's 40 times compared with the first day they launched Binance. So it's interesting practice because it's a major project supported by industrial scale Bitcoin miners who collectively holding 12% of hash rate in Bitcoin. So we try to create a new protocol. We know in crypto industry, we have the trading protocol and the lending protocol and assets protocol. And we build up the bridge between Bitcoin to DeFi world. So this is an interesting practice. And we bring exchange grade liquidity to hash rate assets so that market participants can easily enter and exist in mining industry in any size and any time. If you are interested, you can see it on Binance. And also, I invest in technology help the local government to use blockchain. But to be honest, the practice like that, we have the good name, but not profitable. So in China, when government support blockchain technology, they don't want to touch cryptocurrency because they have no idea about it, how it's legally or not, what's the central government in Beijing they are thinking about. But when I talk to some officials and the regulators in different financial departments, they themselves are really interested in cryptocurrency and even ask them their wife to be involved in the transaction. But they said, okay, I cannot give you some clear idea about the policy from the central government, but we are still observing and studying. So from my side, I should use the China Blockchain Research and Application Center, the identity, to lobby the government and try to approach them, tell them what's happening in crypto world. And to myself, I invested directly in crypto mining and crypto transaction and try to build up a new grid-scale model in China. It's really hard, even maybe impossible. But without a gray capital, the cryptocurrency should be always in the gray area in China. So that's my practice. Try to do it everything compliant in not only in mining industry, like I build up the mining infrastructure, and when we try to exchange the Bitcoin into fiat money, we collaborate with local government in Hainan and Guizhou, try to find a way to make everything compliant. Yeah, that's my practice.
Thank you very much. So let me turn to the relationship between Chinese policy and the role of China in the crypto ecosystem globally, because if you look at China generally in the broader economic global economic system, China is the #2 economy in the world. China has outsized sources of capital. China is competitive generally in many, many areas of technology at the top tiers of competition. But with crypto, I have the impression, for example, that because of China's restrictive policies, there's perhaps less knowledge domestically in China, less media coverage, less activity domestically, and less perhaps competitiveness because of that policy at a time when, you know, crypto technology generally is moving very, very fast outside of China in the world. And if you listen to the discussion this morning or this afternoon earlier, you know, you certainly got that impression that this has been the year of DeFi, right? Or the last 2 years have been the years of DeFi and how that's really been taking off. So is this one area where China is kind of falling behind, or what is your view of that? Do you want to start, Kevin?
Yeah, sure. I think because of the sensitivity in China in financial regulatory part, in the past 3 to 4 years, it's a really nightmare for fintech innovation in China because the control of the central government for financial industry is much more tightened and tightened. So the innovation of the finance, it looks like have the full stop after Ant Finance stopped the listing process. So we can see in the public media, they only talk about technology of the blockchain, and whenever touch the digital currency, they said the central bank is the only one allowed to about digital currency, and Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrency, they even don't want to touch it. The public media, some self media in China can talk about it. It's almost fully underground. It's not on the table. So for that, I really agree with you that the DeFi model and some new business model about cryptocurrency in China, it's not allowed to talk in public. So they only in some small media and self media on internet. So for that part, we are a little bit behind the world, the trend. So we can see in the next few years, it will not be changed because of the surrounding situation in China. Yeah.
DC, do you want to add to that?
Sure. My view might be a little bit different. I think I generally agree with Kevin's comment that the mainstream are still very conservative in terms of the reporting news or information in a blockchain, especially crypto, in particular crypto related contents. But recently, if we watch closely the Chinese mainstream media, many of them are reporting about Bitcoin and blockchain. And recently, Bitcoin has made it to CCTV for at least 2 or 3 times for the past few months. Mostly talking about the rally, but it seems it proves that crypto is not a taboo. It's a topic that it can talk, but from different perspectives. The regulators are talking about the potential risks that may bring to unsophisticated investors. So it's like a reminder. But on the crypto side, like Kevin said, there are still a handful of news media or news outlets that are specializing or focusing on the blockchain space. I think one of the most favored and well-read news media is Chain News. It's a Chinese news outlet specializing in the blockchain space. The quality of their content and the timeliness and professionalism I appreciate all the information they provided to me personally and the blockchain or crypto community. as a whole. They are from very professional, traditional background, journalism background. The three founders, I know all of them. And if you look carefully at all their contents, they are they are looking at the space. They're following the space very closely. And sometimes, if you follow them closely, you can even find investment opportunities. They maintain very good network and relationship with the community, founders, projects, etc. Besides channels, there are also other media that tries to bridge the information gap between China and the English medias. So I do see the crypto players in mainland China are not in a shortage of information. As a matter of fact, because of the benefit of social media and the internet, there's not that much like a gap or information, a lack of information here in mainland China.
Thank you. So one last question. We're running out of time, but one last question for you, DC, and that is, listening to your description of Hashkey and what Wanxiang has done, especially in light of the overall environment and policy environment, that you really sound like pretty much an outlier among Chinese corporations, whether it's state-owned corporations or private companies. I mean, the level of activity, I know that every year you guys put on a huge event every fall on blockchain technology, which is attended globally, by people all over the world. So how does this fit into the overall strategy for Wanxiang, which is basically an industrial conglomerate historically? What is it that the company is trying to accomplish by having such a far-sighted and aggressive crypto or a blockchain program?
Sure, thanks. Though Wanxiang Group started from a very traditional industry, auto parts manufacturing, but the conglomerate, the company, always has the DNA for innovation, for new technology. But it keeps a very low profile, so not many people know about what we have been doing for the past 5 decades in innovation. Starting in the internet age, in the early 1990s, Wanxiang has been investing in the internet. In early 2000, we invested in mobile payment and third-party payment. That's like PayPal in the US. Around 2012, we invested in a fintech and big data company. So in 2015, we dived into blockchain. So the DNA is always there. So aspiration for innovation. So blockchain is whenever or potential for this that can bring changes to the way we work and probably to the industry. We always follow and invest strategically. So the DNA is always there. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So you're really doing what you've always done. So I think we're really out of time here, but I think with both of you, thank you so much for a very, very insightful, illuminating picture of what's happening with crypto in China.